Let's factor 2x squared minus 13x plus 15. So the fastest way could be to just guess and check. 2x times x is 2x squared, and what times what is 15? You can write all the possible combinations. 1 times 15 and 3 times 5 are good pairs. Let's try 3 and 5. If we just randomly try 3 and 5 this way, we can see that this is going to be 10 and 3, which looks like 13. So we found the right pair. This coefficient of x is negative, so we want a large negative number. We have negative here. This becomes negative 10x. And then we put a negative here, so it becomes negative 13x. And these last two numbers multiply to be 15. So we got very lucky. So let's try to imagine we weren't so lucky. Let's try 3 and 5 this way. We know that there's a minus sign here, so there must be a minus sign somewhere, but at the same time, this last number is positive, so it has to be minus and minus, because negative times negative is positive. But when you actually work this out, foiling this out, we have negative 6x minus 5x. So this becomes minus 11x, which is incorrect. So this is not the answer. So this here is the correct factored form. Let's try another way to factor. It might be a bit easier to remember, but it might be a bit slower. It's called the rainbow method. We multiply the a value 2 by the constant term 15, and we just copy down this question again without an a value. There's a hidden 1 here now. 2 times 15 is 30, positive 30. And do not write equal. This is only a trick. We factor normally. What times what is 30 but adds to be negative 13? Let's just focus on all the possible combinations. 130, 215, 310. Now what else multiplies to be 30? 5 and 6. So you can systematically work through all the possible combinations and what feels like a 13 to you. Let's focus on this one here. So we'll write 3 and 10, because 3 times 10 is 30, but somehow if you change the signs plus or minus, it feels like we can possibly get a 13, a negative 13. So let's write negative, negative here, and it's right. But because we're using this rainbow method trick, remember the coefficient 2. We write the 2, the coefficient of the x squared value, underneath the constant term. And then, assuming the fraction is already simplified, we can promote it in front of the x. But 10 divided by 2 can be simplified. We reduce the fraction. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So when we rewrite this, we can actually write this original question is equals to 2x minus 3, x minus 5. Now let's try question 17. Find the value of x in the triangle below. We have a right triangle, so remember the Pythagorean theorem. C squared equals a squared plus b squared. Your c is the longest side, called the hypotenuse. So we have x squared is equals to 2 squared plus 4 squared, which is equals to 4 plus 16, which is 20. Taking the square root of both sides, we have x equals root 20. What about question 18? Find cosine theta. Theta is here, so place your finger here. Recall SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. And tan is opposite over adjacent. So cosine the angle is equals to adjacent over hypotenuse. And that's what we're trying to solve. What is your adjacent? Your adjacent is the person beside you. It's the 8 beside the angle. How do we know that 10 is not the adjacent? It's because 10 is already taken as the hypotenuse. The longest side, the hypotenuse, is always opposite the right angle. So the answer is 8 over 10. And of course, you can reduce. The answer is also considered 4 over 5.